Hello traders, Steve Ribble with Trader Task Coach here. Today I wanted to talk to you about one of the most often overlooked topics, but in my opinion, one of the most important CYAs that's cover your assets for a trader when dealing with the IRS, and that's record keeping. Why save your records? Generally, you're going to save your records to substantiate any information that you report on your tax return. The statute of limitations is 3 years. That means the IRS has up to 3 years from the date you file your return to audit that return. If you don't have good records and you get audited, the IRS is going to throw out that deduction. They're going to throw out that expense. Now you're faced with the triple threat. The triple threat is you're going to owe the taxes due, you're going to have penalties, you're going to have interest. You don't want that, so make sure you keep good records. So how long do you want to keep your records? Your prior year tax returns, generally you're going to keep these for a minimum of 3 years, but it could be longer. You're going to keep it longer if there are items on that tax return that affect future years, such as net operating losses that you're carrying forward, capital losses that you might be carrying forward, or charitable contributions. Your tax receipts used to document any expenses should be kept through the statute of limitations for that tax return. Discard any receipts that will not affect future transactions, and expenses other than lodging that are under $75, you actually don't need to keep a receipt. You can document it through an Excel sheet, but you don't need to keep the actual receipt if it's under $75. For retirement plans such as 401ks, IRAs, etc., keep the statements until the account is closed. Keep year-end brokerage statements for 3 years. You can shred monthly statements after you get the year-end statements. And for 1099s, you want to keep those also 3 years. IRA records. Keep IRA contribution and distribution records indefinitely. Don't throw these out. Also important, records of non-deductible contributions are actually very, very important. You want these to be able to back up if you withdraw money from non-deductibles and you're drawing out principal that you don't owe taxes on this money. Business receipts. You can discard most receipts dealing with operational expenses if they do not fall within the statute of limitations. Keep receipts for equipment that you bought, such as computers, monitors, etc., for cost basis purposes. Keep payroll records for a minimum of 4 years. And net operating losses. If you have a tax return that generates a net operating loss, keep this tax return for 3 years following the last year that loss is used. Let's look at travel-related expenses. Keep receipts for each separate lodging, meal, transportation expense for 3 years. Incidental expenses can be totaled in reasonable categories, such as taxis, fees, tips, etc. Keep these for 3 years. You must have a business purpose for the trip. Keep that in mind. You can't deduct vacations, but if you go take a trip for an educational seminar, and in-state or out-of-state, keep your travel-related receipts because you can deduct those expenses. Let's look at some other personal documents. Wills, living wills, healthcare's power of attorneys, trust documents, powers of attorney, divorce papers, military records, adoption papers, citizenship papers, prenups, and birth, marriage, and death certificates should be kept forever. You should keep passports, alimony and custody agreements, insurance policies, and deeds until they're no longer current. Bills or receipts for major purchases such as vehicles, collectibles, or jewelry should be kept for cost documentation purposes. Pay stubs, canceled checks, general bills and receipts, and credit card receipts should be shredded when monthly statements are received, unless the item needed for a tax purpose. Monthly statements can then be shredded after 1 year. I want to wrap this up with some document security, some things to keep in mind. You should shred all personal documents before you discard them. Use a cross-cut shredder. That's the ones that are most recommended. You should consider fire and flood-proof storage for important papers. And lastly, for added safety and security, you could consider using a bank safe deposit box. So hopefully you understand record keeping. And some things to keep in mind here is the statute of limitations. You probably heard me say 3 years quite a bit in this video, and that's because the statute of limitations for most federal tax returns, remember, is 3 years. Keep in mind, though, that it can be extended up to 6 years if you understate income by more than 25%, and there is no time limit if you have actually not filed a tax return or if you filed a fraudulent tax return in order to evade taxes. Let me leave you with this. You know that trading is stressful enough. Your taxes don't have to be. That's where Trader Tax Coach comes in. We offer a free trader evaluation. So if you're not sure if you've met the requirements in order to classify it as a business trader, go to our website at tradertaxcoach.net/trader_status, and you can take our free trader evaluation. We'll let you know our thoughts. We can review your previous 3 years worth of tax returns for free. A lot of times we do find errors from other CPAs and other accountants because they don't understand trader taxation. If we find errors, we can help you file amended returns and get that money back. We help with mark-to-market election filing. We do entity consultation and formation, helping you find the correct entity for your trading business. We offer payroll services. We offer tax preparation for businesses as well as individuals, and that includes state returns. And finally, what separates us from a lot of the other accounting practices out there is that we offer true tax planning. We don't just put the right numbers in the right boxes. We go the step further, and that's to proactively help you lower your taxes the right way. And you don't pay extra for these services. It's included in our low annual fee. So if you have any further tax questions, you can reach us at info@tradertaxcoach.net. We do appreciate your time. I'm leaving my contact information up here. You can reach out to us on the web at tradertaxcoach.net, and you can also follow us on Twitter at tradertaxcoach. Thanks.